Within the next 5 years, over 60 million people will attempt to start a business, and 90% of them will fail, not because they lacked talent, not because they lacked money, but because they tried to build something from scratch when a working blueprint already existed. Here is the evidence and what to do right now. I spent 24 hours dissecting a verified 7-figure business, line by line, offer by offer, funnel by funnel. And what I found should make you angry, not at the market, not at your circumstances, at the fact that nobody ever told you this was possible. You have been sitting in a cubicle grinding for someone else's dream while the exact map to your exit was available the entire time. Anyone can build a business, but stealing the exact blueprint of one that already worked? Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Why does every business course teach you to brainstorm your passion, validate your idea, and build from zero? Why is that the standard advice? Because the people selling that framework benefit when you stay confused. A confused beginner buys more courses. A confused beginner stays dependent. But here is what the business schools will never put in their curriculum. Successful companies are not built on original ideas. They are built on refined execution of proven models. In 2006, YouTube was not the first video platform. Facebook was not the first social network. Airbnb was not the first rental marketplace. Every single one of them looked at what existed, identified the fracture point, and inserted themselves with a sharper version. That is not cheating. That is called competitive intelligence. And the reason you have never been taught this is simple. If you knew how to reverse engineer success, you would not need a guru. You would not stay an employee. You would become a threat to the system that profits from your confusion. The clock on your working life is ticking. Every Monday morning you spend commuting as a Monday. You are not building equity in something that belongs to you. Here is what separates the person earning a salary from the person paying salaries. Insiders do not start with a product. They start with a proven market, find the dominant player in that market, and then perform a systematic autopsy on exactly how that business makes money. It is called a business model teardown, and it is the single most valuable 24 hours you will ever invest. When I ran this process on a real 8-figure brand in the productivity software space, here is what I found inside the first 3 hours. Their entire revenue engine was built on 4 components: a low-ticket entry offer priced at $27 to capture leads, an upsell sequence generating 3x average order value, a subscription tier with 94% retention, and a referral loop embedded in the onboarding that cut their customer acquisition cost by 60%. 4 components. That is it. No viral hacks, no secret algorithm, no million-dollar ad budget. 4 deliberately engineered components that any sharp person could replicate in a different niche within weeks. The insiders know that complexity is the enemy of execution, and they ruthlessly strip every business down to its load-bearing walls before they ever pour a foundation of their own. So what is the actual system? Let me break it down into the exact sequence I used during that 24-hour reverse engineering sprint. Step 1. Target selection. You pick a business that has survived at least 3 years and is generating verifiable revenue. You are not guessing. You are using tools like SimilarWeb for traffic data, App Store reviews for customer sentiment, and LinkedIn to map the team structure. Step 2. Offer deconstruction. You buy the product. You go through the entire customer journey as a buyer. You screenshot every email, every upsell, every order bump. You are mapping the money flow. Step 3. Acquisition analysis. Where is their traffic coming from? Paid search, organic content, affiliates? Tools like SEMrush will show you exactly which keywords they are ranking for and how much they are spending on ads. Step 4. The gap audit. This is where you find your entry point. No business is perfect. Every dominant player has a weakness, a demographic they ignore, a price point they abandoned, a distribution channel they never touched. That gap is your door. This entire system costs you $0 and approximately 24 hours of focused work. But most people will never do it. Not because they cannot, because they are waiting for permission. Stop waiting. You want proof this works? Look at the pattern across some of the most successful companies built in the last decade. Sarah Blakely studied the hosiery market for 2 years before launching Spanx. She did not invent shapewear. She deconstructed what existed and removed the part that women hated. Result: $1.2 billion in revenue without a single dollar of outside investment in her first decade. Alex Hormozi spent years inside the gym business before he built his offer consulting empire. He did not theorize about what customers wanted. He reverse-engineered the highest-converting gym offers in the country, stripped them to their core mechanics, and rebuilt something sharper. His company hit $100 million in revenue. Ryan Holiday did not invent media strategy. He reverse-engineered how the most viral stories of the 20th century were manufactured and built an entire consulting practice and book empire on that decoded knowledge. The evidence is not subtle. The evidence is overwhelming. The people you admire, the ones who escaped the paycheck cycle, almost none of them built something original. They built something refined. They found what worked, understood why it worked, and executed it better than anyone before them. That is available to you right now. Today, not after more preparation. Today. I know what you are thinking. That works for people who already had connections or capital. Let me shut that down right now. In 2023, a 26-year-old with no business degree and no funding used this exact teardown framework on a Shopify dropshipping competitor. She identified that the dominant player in the pet accessories niche had zero presence on TikTok Shop despite having $4 million in annual Amazon revenue. She replicated the core offer, optimized the product photography, and launched exclusively on TikTok Shop. Within 9 months, she crossed $80,000 per month in revenue. No investor pitch, no MBA, no waiting for the right time. She had the map. She just walked the road. Or look at the creator economy. The top YouTube channels in the personal finance space all follow an identical content architecture. A fear-based hook in the first 30 seconds, a framework reveal in the middle, and a CTA tied to a digital product or affiliate. They did not invent this. They decoded it from the channels that came before them. You are watching an example of this right now. The playbook is in plain sight. The only question is whether you are willing to pick it up. And now, the tools that actually helped me go deeper and faster during this process. 2 books that functioned as operating manuals during my 24-hour sprint were $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi, which gives you the exact framework for understanding why any high-converting offer works mechanically, and 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, which sharpens your ability to spot the genuine gaps in any market. Both of these are linked in the description. They are not optional reading if you are serious about this. They are cheat codes. Here is your exact first move. Not next week. Not when the timing feels right. Tonight. Open a blank document. Pick one business in a niche you find genuinely interesting. Not your passion, a niche with proven buyers. Go to their website. Buy the cheapest thing they sell. Document every single touch point from that moment forward. Every email subject line. Every upsell page. Every piece of copy. You are not copying them. You are reading their blueprint the way an architect reads a finished building. Then, open SimilarWeb and pull their traffic data. Open SEMrush and look at their top 10 organic keywords. Spend 30 minutes on their reviews across every platform: App Store, Trustpilot, Reddit Threads, Amazon. You are looking for the words their customers use to describe the problem this product solves. Those words are your marketing. That is day 1. Not a 90-day plan, not a business license, not a logo. Day 1 is intelligence gathering. Because the person who understands the market better than anyone else in the room does not need luck. They have leverage. And leverage is the only thing that separates the person building equity from the person building someone else's retirement fund with their labor. You have been working for the system long enough. It is time to understand it well enough to build your own. If this gave you something real today, a framework, a fire, a direction, then do one thing right now. Drop a comment below with the niche you are going to reverse engineer first. I read every single one. It keeps me making content like this, and it holds you publicly accountable to actually starting. Subscribe if you want the full system. Next week, I am breaking down the exact offer structure I found inside that $1 million business teardown, including the upsell sequence that generated 40% of their total revenue. You do not want to miss that one. The links to $100 million offers and 0 to 1 are in the description. Both of those books will give you the intellectual framework to execute everything I just walked you through at a much higher level. Use them. The life you want to be living is not a fantasy. It is a system.